The number on my phone showed my sister's name, Linda. I almost didn't answer. We hadn't spoken in 3 weeks, not since the argument about Mom's care. But something made me pick up. "James." Her voice came through flat and rehearsed. "Mom passed away this morning, peacefully in her sleep. Michael and I were with her. The funeral is Saturday at Riverside Chapel." My hand tightened around the phone. Mom. Gone. The words should have hit me like a freight train, but instead, something felt off. Wrong. The beach house, her investment accounts, everything. Linda continued, her tone shifting slightly. "She left it all to Michael and me. You get the photo albums and some of her books. She made the changes 6 months ago. I'm sorry, James. I know you did a lot for her, but she felt we were in a better position to manage her estate." I should have been crying, should have been asking questions, should have felt something other than the strange calm settling over me. Instead, I smiled. Because Mom was sitting 3 feet away from me at her kitchen table drinking chamomile tea from her favorite blue mug, very much alive. She raised one eyebrow and mouthed, "Well." I looked at her, this woman who'd raised me, who'd taught me that actions speak louder than words, who'd just proven a theory we'd spent 2 months carefully constructing. My throat tightened, but not with grief. With something closer to vindication mixed with profound sadness. "James, are you there?" Linda's voice cracked slightly. "I know this is a shock." "Yeah," I managed. "Yeah, I'm here. Listen, Linda, I need to go. We'll talk about arrangements later." I ended the call and set the phone on the table. Mom reached across and squeezed my hand. Her grip was strong, steady, alive. "Well," she said quietly, "I suppose that answers that question. Let me back up. I'm James Thornton. I'm 60 years old. Spent 32 years as a social worker in Boston before taking early retirement to care for aging family members. My sister Linda is 62, 2 years older than me. She married Michael Reeves 15 years ago, right after her first husband died. Michael's a fintech entrepreneur, made a small fortune in cryptocurrency before the first big crash got out at the right time. They live in a waterfront condo in Miami. Fly first-class vacation in the Maldives. Mom. Patricia Thornton is 78. Dad died 5 years ago, left her comfortable. The beach house in Cape Cod, worth about $1.8 million. Investment portfolio, around $1.4 million. Modest pension. She'd been healthy, sharp, active. Volunteered at the library, played bridge twice a week, walked 3 miles every morning, until about 7 months ago. That's when Linda and Michael started visiting more often. Every 2 or 3 weeks, they'd drive up from their place in Connecticut, where they kept an apartment. At first, I thought it was nice. Linda had been distant for years, always busy with Michael's business ventures and their social circle. Suddenly, she was attentive, concerned, talking about Mom's future and long-term planning. Michael started joining the conversations. "Patricia, have you thought about updating your estate plan? The tax laws have changed significantly. You could be leaving James and Linda with a real mess." Mom would wave him off. "Everything's fine, Michael. My lawyer set it all up years ago." But he persisted. Every visit, new angles. "What if you need long-term care? The beach house could be at risk. Have you considered a trust? What about your investment accounts? Are they properly diversified?" I started noticing other things. Mom seemed tired after their visits, confused sometimes. She'd misplace her keys, forget appointments. Small things at first. "James, did I take my blood pressure medication this morning?" she asked me one Tuesday. I'd just arrived from my weekly dinner visit. "I don't know, Mom. Check your pill organizer." She opened it. Tuesday evening slot was empty, but Tuesday morning slot still had pills in it. "That's odd," she murmured. I could have sworn I took them. The following week, I found her searching for her reading glasses. They were on top of her head. She laughed it off, but there was uncertainty in her eyes. Maybe I'm getting old, James. You're 78, Mom. You're allowed to be human. But it escalated. She called me one night distressed. I can't find my checkbook. I've looked everywhere. What if someone took it? I drove over immediately. Found it in the freezer tucked behind a bag of frozen peas. I don't remember putting it there, she whispered. James, what's happening to me? That's when Linda suggested the doctor's appointment. She and Michael drove up, took Mom to a neurologist in Boston. I wasn't invited, which struck me as strange, but Linda said, "We didn't want to bother you. You do so much already." The neurologist's report was devastating. Early-stage dementia, possible Alzheimer's, recommended cognitive testing medication, close monitoring. Mom was crushed. I'm losing myself, she told me, tears streaming down her face. I held her, this woman, who'd been my rock, and felt helpless. Michael shifted into high gear. Patricia, we need to be realistic. You need someone managing your affairs. James is wonderful, but he's got no experience with financial planning. Linda and I can help. We've been through this with my mother. He brought in an estate planner, a lawyer named Richard Crawford. I'd never heard of him, but Michael said he was the best. They started talking about trusts, power of attorney, medical directives. Just to protect you, Michael assured her. So if things get worse, everything's handled properly. I watched this unfold with growing unease. Something felt orchestrated, mechanical. But what did I know? I'd handled child welfare cases, domestic abuse situations. I wasn't a financial expert. Maybe Michael was right. Maybe this was responsible planning. Then I noticed the money. I helped Mom with her bills sometimes when she asked. One afternoon, I was organizing her bank statements and saw a withdrawal. $18,000. 2 weeks later, another $15,000. Then $25,000. Mom, these large withdrawals, what were they for? She looked confused. Withdrawals? I don't remember making any withdrawals. They're right here, cashier's checks. She studied the statements, her brow furrowing. I don't know, James. Maybe Linda borrowed something, or Michael needed it for an investment. I called Linda. Did you borrow money from Mom? What? No. Why? There are large withdrawals from her account. Almost $60,000 in 2 months. Silence. Then, Michael mentioned something about helping Mom restructure her portfolio. Maybe it's related to that. I'll ask him. She never called back with an answer. I started keeping closer track. Over 5 months, $180,000 had moved out of Mom's accounts. When I asked Michael directly, he was smooth. Investment opportunities, James? Your mother agreed to diversify. Don't worry, everything's properly documented. Richard has all the paperwork. But Mom had no memory of it. Did I agree to that? She'd ask me, frightened. I don't remember. Her confusion grew worse. She'd shuffle papers around, forgetting what she was looking for. She'd start sentences and trail off. Twice I found her standing in the hallway, disoriented. I feel foggy, she told me, like I'm walking through cotton. That's when I checked her medications. I'd taken enough adult protective services training to know what to look for. Her regular prescriptions were there. Blood pressure, cholesterol, a daily aspirin. But there was another bottle. Zolpidem, 10 milligram tablets. Prescribed by Dr. Harrison, according to the label. Dr. Harrison had been Dad's doctor, but he'd retired 3 years ago. I called the pharmacy. Can you tell me when this prescription was filled? 6 months ago. Prescribed by Dr. Chen. Is there a problem? Dr. Chen. Mom's new doctor. The one Michael had recommended after Dr. Harrison retired. I looked up Zolpidem. It's Ambien, a sleep medication. can cause confusion. Memory problems, even amnesia, especially in elderly patients. The bottle said, "Take as needed for sleep." But Mom had been taking one every day, sometimes more. "Mom, did Dr. Chen prescribe these sleeping pills?" "Sleeping pills? I don't take sleeping pills, James. They're in your medicine cabinet." She looked at the bottle, confused. "I don't remember getting these. Maybe Linda picked them up for me." Puzzle pieces started clicking together. The sudden onset of confusion, the memory problems, the convenient timing with Michael's increased involvement, the money disappearing, the push to change Mom's estate plan. I sat Mom down. "I need you to trust me. I think something's wrong. I think someone's been giving you medication you don't need, making you seem more confused than you are." She stared at me. "You think Linda would do that?" "I think Michael might, and Linda might not know." We sat in silence. Then Mom said something that surprised me. "I've been pretending, James. The last month or so. I stopped taking those pills. I found them in my orange juice one morning, undissolved at the bottom of the glass. I didn't drink it. Started paying more attention. The fog lifted after a few days, but I kept acting confused because I wanted to see what would happen." I felt like the floor had dropped away. "You've been faking it." "Only recently. Before that, I really was confused. But once I stopped taking whatever Michael was putting in my drinks, my head cleared. And I got angry, James. Very angry. Because I realized what he was doing. We need to call the police." "Not yet. I want proof. Real proof. Because if we're wrong, I lose my daughter forever. If we're right, I need her to see it for herself." That's when we started planning. First, I consulted an attorney, not Richard Crawford, a family friend named Rebecca Walsh, who'd handled Dad's estate. I explained the situation without naming names at first. She was blunt. If someone is drugging an elderly person to make them appear incompetent so they can steal from them, that's elder abuse and financial exploitation. Potentially attempted murder depending on the dosage and intent. You need documentation. Police won't act on suspicion alone. Next, I called Mom's actual physician. Dr. Morrison had been seeing Mom for 2 years since Dr. Harrison retired. I'd never heard of a Dr. Chen. "Dr. Chen?" Dr. Morrison checked her records. "I have no associate by that name, and I certainly never prescribed Zolpidem for your mother. She's never reported sleep issues." The prescription was fraudulent, or from some doctor Michael had paid off. Either way, it was criminal. Dr. Morrison was disturbed enough to run a full cognitive assessment on Mom. The results came back clear. No dementia, no Alzheimer's. Mild age-related memory decline, completely normal for 78. The neurologist's report Michael had presented Dr. Morrison checked with the neurologist's office. No record of Patricia Thornton ever being a patient there. The whole diagnosis was fabricated. Rebecca Walsh was clear about next steps. "You need video evidence. In Massachusetts, you can record in your own home without consent. Set up cameras. Document everything. If he's drugging her, catch it on video. Then we go to the police." Mom and I installed small cameras in her kitchen and living room, hidden in a bookshelf and a decorative clock on the kitchen counter, places no one would notice. Then Mom called Linda. "I've been feeling worse lately," she told her daughter. Her voice was fragile, uncertain, a perfect imitation of the confusion she'd been faking. "Could you and Michael come up? I need to talk about some things. Legal things. I'm scared, Linda." They drove up 2 days later. I made myself scarce, said I was visiting an old colleague in Portland for the weekend. Mom was alone with them. The cameras captured everything. Michael arrived with Richard Crawford, the supposed estate planner. They sat Mom down at the kitchen table. Papers spread out. "Patricia, we need to finalize these documents," Michael said, his voice patient but firm. "The trust documents. You remember we discussed this. Everything gets transferred into a trust, Linda as trustee. That way, if your condition worsens, everything's protected. Mom played her part beautifully. I'm so confused. What does this mean? It means Linda can take care of everything for you. The beach house, your investments, all of it. You won't have to worry anymore. But James is taken care of. You're leaving him some personal items. The photo albums, your book collection. Things with sentimental value. The camera caught Linda's face. She looked uncomfortable, but not surprised. She knew. Linda, honey, Mom said softly. Is this really what I should do? Linda reached across the table. Mom, you're not thinking clearly anymore. Michael and I can manage things better. James is wonderful, but he's not equipped for this. It's for the best. Michael pushed the papers forward. Just sign here, Patricia. Then you can rest. No more worries. That's when he did it. The camera caught him pulling a small pill crusher from his pocket. He stood. Walked to the counter, poured Mom a glass of orange juice, turned his back to her. But the camera angle was perfect. We watched him crush something, dump it into the juice, stir it quickly. Here, Patricia. Drink this. You'll feel better. Mom took the glass, brought it to her lips. The camera caught her face perfectly as she pretended to drink, but actually only touched the rim to her lips. When Michael looked away, she dumped half the glass into the potted plant next to her chair. Thank you, dear, she murmured. 15 minutes later, she started acting drowsy. I'm so tired, she slurred. Can't think straight. That's okay, Mom, Linda said. Just sign the papers, then you can rest. Michael guided her hand. The signatures were shaky, uncertain. Rebecca Walsh later confirmed they'd hold up in court because the video showed obvious coercion and drugging. But in that moment, they got what they wanted. All of Mom's assets transferred into a trust. Linda as trustee, Michael as co-trustee. James Thornton, beloved son, left with photo albums and a collection of murder mysteries Mom had accumulated over 40 years. They left that evening. Linda hugged Mom goodbye. We'll take care of everything, Mom. You don't have to worry anymore. Michael kissed her cheek. Rest well, Patricia. The cameras caught him palming the Zolpidem bottle from Mom's medicine cabinet on his way out. Mom and I watched the footage together that night. She cried. Not from fear or confusion, but from grief. She knew James. Linda knew what he was doing. Maybe not at first, but by the end, she knew, and she went along with it. I held my mother while she mourned the daughter she thought she had. Rebecca Walsh reviewed everything the next morning. This is enough. We go to the police today. But Patricia, you need to decide something. Do you want to prosecute Linda too? Mom was quiet for a long time. I need to see her face when the truth comes out. Then I'll decide. And we crafted the plan, carefully. Mom would fake her death. Linda and Michael would be called to a lawyer's office, told about the funeral arrangements and the estate settlement. Then Mom would walk in, and we'd see what happened. Rebecca coordinated with the police. Detective Sarah Chen, ironically enough, handled elder abuse cases for Massachusetts State Police. She was grimly efficient. We've been tracking Michael Reeves for 2 years, she told us. 3 complaints from elderly individuals in similar situations, but never enough evidence to prosecute. This video is gold. We'll get him. The plan went into motion. Rebecca called Michael, and Linda said she was Patricia Thornton's attorney, needed to meet regarding the estate. Patricia had passed away suddenly, peacefully in her sleep. Funeral arrangements were being made. I made the call to Linda that morning. Let her tell me the lie. Let her hear my voice break slightly, even though Mom was sitting right next to me. It felt like play acting, but it was necessary. We needed them comfortable, confident. The meeting was scheduled for Saturday morning at Rebecca's office in downtown Boston. Michael and Linda arrived early, dressed in respectful dark clothing. Michael's expression was appropriately somber. Linda's eyes were red like she'd been crying. Rebecca greeted them in the conference room. "Thank you for coming. I know this is difficult. Patricia's passing was very sudden." "We were with her just last week," Michael said. "She seemed peaceful, confused, but peaceful." "Yes, about that." Rebecca opened a folder. "Before we discuss the estate, there are some irregularities I need to address." Michael's expression didn't change. "Irregularities?" "Regarding the trust document signed last week, and some financial transactions." "Everything was properly executed," Michael said smoothly. "Richard Crawford handled all the legal work." "Mr. Crawford isn't a licensed attorney in Massachusetts. In fact, Mr. Crawford doesn't appear to exist at all. The Bar Association has no record of him." Linda's face went pale. "What, Michael, you said he was legitimate." "He is," Michael insisted. "This is a misunderstanding. There's also the matter of the Zolpidem prescription, and $180,000 in unauthorized withdrawals from Patricia's accounts." Michael stood. "I don't have to listen to this. My mother-in-law just died, and you're making accusations, Linda. We're leaving." "Sit down, Mr. Reeves." The voice came from the doorway. Detective Chen stepped in, followed by another officer. And then Mom walked in. The silence was absolute. Linda made a sound something between a gasp and a sob. Michael's face went completely blank. Then red. Then white. "Hello, Linda," Mom said quietly. "Hello, Michael." Linda stood, stumbled, sat back down. "Mom, but we were told you were dead." "I'm very much alive, and very aware of what you've been doing." Rebecca played the video. All of it. The drugging, the coercion, the fraudulent documents. Michael watched, his jaw clenched. Linda watched with growing horror. "I didn't know," Linda whispered. "Michael, you said you were helping her. You said the medications were from her doctor. You said James wasn't capable of managing her affairs." "I was protecting our future," Michael said coldly. "Your mother is old. She was going to waste that money on some charity or leave it all to your brother. We deserved it, Linda, after everything we've done. You poisoned her. You made her seem incompetent. You stole from her. I secured our financial future." Detective Chen stepped forward. "Michael Reeves, you're under arrest for elder abuse, financial exploitation, fraud, and attempted murder. You have the right to remain silent." The attempted murder charge came from the dosage. The pills Michael had been crushing and putting in Mom's orange juice were 50 milligram Zolpidem tablets, 5 times the normal dose for someone Mom's age. Dr. Morrison testified that at that level, with Mom's blood pressure, medication respiratory failure was a real possibility. Michael hadn't just wanted her confused. He'd wanted her dead, eventually. "Make it look natural." Linda sat frozen while they cuffed Michael and read him his rights. She didn't say a word. After they took him out, Mom sat down across from her daughter. "Did you know, Linda? At the end, did you know what he was doing?" Linda's face crumpled. "I knew something was wrong. I knew you weren't really that confused. But he kept saying it was for the best, that James would waste everything, that we deserved it after Dad left, everything tied up in trusts. And I wanted to believe him, Mom. I wanted the beach house. I wanted financial security. So I didn't ask too many questions. You chose money over me. I chose the life Michael gave me, the one where I don't have to worry. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Mom stood. "I need time, Linda. I don't know if I can forgive this. Maybe someday. But not now." Linda nodded, tears streaming down her face. "The legal aftermath took 8 months. Michael was charged with attempted murder, but the prosecutor plea bargained down to aggravated elder abuse fraud and criminal conspiracy due to Mom never actually consuming the drugs in quantities that would have killed her, thanks to her dumping them in the plant. He was sentenced to 7 years in state prison. His assets were seized to cover restitution, legal fees, and fines. $180,000 returned to Mom's accounts, plus $85,000 in legal costs he had to pay. Richard Crawford turned out to be Michael's college roommate, not a lawyer. He got 3 years for fraud and conspiracy. Linda wasn't charged criminally, but Mom changed her will. Linda got 30% of the estate, enough to be comfortable, but not enough to maintain the lifestyle Michael had promised. James. That's me, got 70%. The beach house, most of the investments, and the knowledge that when tested, I'd done the right thing. Linda and Michael divorced. She moved back to Massachusetts, got an apartment in Worcester. She calls Mom sometimes. Mom answers sometimes. It's a work in progress. I asked Mom once, "Why didn't you just tell me from the start that you'd figured it out?" She smiled sadly. "Because I needed to know James. I needed to know if Linda would choose me or choose money. And I needed you to be genuinely shocked when she called so they wouldn't suspect. I'm sorry I put you through that. I would have done anything for you, Mom." "I know. That's why you got the beach house." We laugh about it now darkly. The time Mom faked her death to catch a would-be murderer. It sounds like a movie plot, but it happened in my life, in my family. The hardest part isn't the betrayal, though, that cut deep. It's knowing that greed can turn people you love into strangers. Linda was my big sister, the one who taught me to ride a bike, who covered for me when I broke Mom's favorite vase, who cried with me when Dad died. But somewhere along the way, she became someone else. Someone who could watch her husband poison their mother and do nothing. I visit Mom every week still. We have dinner, play cards, talk about everything except Linda, unless Mom brings it up. The beach house is in a trust, now properly executed by Rebecca Walsh. When Mom passes, and I hope that's many years from now, it'll come to me. Not because I deserve it more, but because I showed up. I was there. Not for the inheritance, but for her. That's the thing about family, the real kind. Real family shows up when there's nothing to gain. Real family sits with you through confusion and fear. Real family doesn't count the inheritance before you're cold in the ground. And real family doesn't poison your orange juice. I got the beach house, the investments, and the peace of knowing I did right by my mother. Linda got 30%, and the weight of her choices. Michael got 7 years in prison and a criminal record. But the person who won, really won, was Mom. She got to see who loved her for herself and who loved her for what she could leave behind. And in the end, that clarity is worth more than any beach house or investment portfolio. That's what I think about when I sit on the deck in Cape Cod, watching the sun set over the Atlantic. Mom beside me, very much alive, sipping her chamomile tea from that blue mug. "Beautiful night," she says. Beautiful night, I agree. And somewhere in Florida, Michael Reeves is learning that greed has consequences, that elder abuse is a crime, that you can't poison someone's life and expect to inherit their wealth. The real inheritance isn't money. It's integrity, character, the ability to look yourself in the mirror and know you did the right thing, even when it was hard. I got that from Mom, and no one can take it away.